as I said, we're back, and this, of course, is still Chapter 8, Shadow Crossing, and this will also wrap up Chapter 8, Shadow Crossing. After this is episode 33, and episode 34 will start Chapter 9, Out of Mind. So I think that's what Chapter 9 is. It's called. Yes, Chapter 9 is called Out of Mind. And so when we come back and look for episode 34, it will be Chapter 9, Out of Mind. But meantime, we're going to wrap up Chapter 8, Shadow Crossing, and this one's going to be interesting. Like I said, we had a tumultuous start to our relationship. We've already had 2 separation points. We separated once for 3 months. And we separated again for what amounts to being an extended weekend. We just can't get away from each other. 4 years in their relationship. The kids are getting older, maturing, becoming more and more a part of my life. I've now had 4 years with them. Not just a big brother anymore. I was fixing to be a stepdad. We were fixing to move on to something different.
God dog.
On Thanksgiving, just before Thanksgiving, I proposed unorthodoxly, and she accepted. On December 6, 1997, we married. With marriage came the change. I would now take on more of a father figure. My mother got some land through a divorce from her second husband. She sold the land and split it between me and my 2 sisters. Rhonda was present when I received my $1,500 part of the inheritance. We had already been talking about buying a house, so with what I received and what she put forward, we went through the process of buying our home. So we got married, and then we bought a house together. We got a hold of a good real estate agent, and she went to classes to sweeten our chances and got a very low mortgage payment of about $500. Now, actually, I think it was $450. Yeah, it may have been $400, $450. It wasn't very much because she went to those classes. And going to those classes, they lowered the payment on the mortgage payment. We found a good house. It was a white brick. Got a better vehicle. Actually, 2 newer model vehicles. We got newer model vehicles now. Because as we grew, as our relationship grew, we gained more money, and I was able to buy decent running vehicles. And I said about adding to what we already had accumulated material-wise. We got TVs, furniture, washer and dryer, VCRs, refrigerator. The list continued to grow over the next several years. We accumulated several items. Practically started out with nothing to having more than we could handle. 4 years later, I'm directly with a local rent-to-own store. But I was going through the Rent-A-Center, and most like I've done a few times already. We just went there, rented a bunch of stuff, paid it off, rented some more stuff, paid it off, and before you know it, we had a house full of stuff. I mean, we had a 3-bedroom house. Had a big car garage, had a trailer out back, a fenced-in yard. It was, started off pretty good. Yeah, it really did. We finally got a computer, and with every marriage, and change becomes something else. Totally unexpected. And she already had 4 kids, and she didn't want any more.
Well, now I'm here.
Someone jumped the gun so I could get there. I really don't know if I could do it. I'd had several girlfriends before, and I had didn't pull out and didn't get them pregnant. I did it more than once, and I just, I didn't know if I had it in me or not. I didn't. Maybe my sperm count was low. But one time we were in bed together in our new home, and we got caught up in the heat of action. I was on the bottom, and she was on top. She was in the lead. And I told her several times I was fixing to, and she got so caught up in it, she didn't pull out. And, well, that happened. And it ran in my family. My sister had twins. My mother has a twin brother and sister. The parents before them had twins, so we had twins, or were pregnant with twins. They weren't born yet, but we were pregnant with twins.
That's me.
And he was one of them, and Isaac is the other. The following year, 1998, and she was due April 1st. April, of all days to be due on. You're with a woman that has 4 kids. She didn't know, she didn't want any more babies, and you didn't know if you could do it. You get caught up in the heat of the moment, and she gets pregnant, and your due date is April 1st. April Fool's Day.
Haha.
Fuck that shit. That was, talk about a way to, talk about karma. Talk about a way to find out, and your due dates on April Fool's Day. And of course, during the pregnancy, during the kids going back and forth, we kind of lost track of each other. She was working off of me, I was working off of her, so we couldn't afford a babysitter. So, because all our money went to the house. Didn't have a whole lot of time to spend together. We were constantly on the go. We were working off, the kids all in school. Every time they come home from school, it was time for dinner, time for bed. And in the morning, it was time to get everybody up and get them to school. And as they got older, they played Little League baseball, so they was constantly going to the track, to the ball field. For a little bit. We did it for a couple of years, but then it became too much to handle, so we stopped. We just wanted to stop for a bit and spend some time together, but it's just bam, 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 Sometimes we stop and relax and watch a movie together at the house. We'd rent movies. I got to the point where I got 2 VCRs hooked together. Okay? I got 2 VCRs. I hooked one VCR to the other VCR, and I was able to record. So I ran about 4 or 5 movies. I record movies, and we sit down and watch them together. Then I record them to a blank VHS tape and put a name and a number and titles on them. Put it up. So
we had like 500 of them.
So we had like 500 of them, but I eventually let them go after 20 or 30 years.
I think Isaac has some of them.
No, Tim and Heather took them. Yeah, Tim and Heather took them. Because they didn't want them to fall out of the family, so Tim and Heather took the movies and split it between the 2 of them. So they've got all the recorded movies. It ended up being about 500.
We had a few of them though.
No, we got the original copy movies, VHS. All the recorded ones, Tim and Heather got them because they didn't want to let them go. I was going to let them go. But they said, we'll take them. So I said, okay. So I bagged them up. They came in one day and they took them. So they wanted to keep them in the family. That was a lot of work. There was a lot of work put into them. And Rhonda was surprised. She was shocked. I even let them go, but I had nowhere to set them up at, and I couldn't keep up with them. And I couldn't really get to them to watch them. So they was just kind of sitting in the closet, and finally got tired of it and just, decided to clean up a little bit. But anyway,
They have kids. They can watch them anyway.
sometimes we go to the local. Yeah, they had kids. They got a bunch of kids. They got kids over there, so they got just some kid shows and stuff. So there's a lot of kid movies on those tapes. So they watch them.
Atlantis,
Atlantis, yeah, stuff like that.
Treasure Planet, my favorite.
Treasure Island, Muppet Treasure Island, stuff like that. And sometimes we'd have enough money to go catch a double feature at the local theater. We didn't have a chance for ourselves until a week later, so not having all the time in the world seemed to be the norm. And it would become what she called an adventure. And it was very adventurous. It was just one thing after another, after another, after another. You got 4 kids, you got 2 more on the way in a set of twins. And it's just like, my goodness gracious, you're fixing to have 6 kids in this house now. You don't have time together now. Holy moly, doly. I mean, how are you going to have time together after the twins get here? And to tell you the truth, I was kind of looking forward to it. I'm 28 years old. I didn't have kids of my own, you know. I never had kids of my own.
And now you have the mini me.
I took on a ready-made family. Chris, Tim, Heather, and Joey. And raised them as my own.
And they're all ordinary.
Especially Heather. Love her to death. But my little feather is an ornery little character.
We love her to death.
And I tell you what, don't let her ever hear you call her my stepdaughter, or she will slap the shit out of you. I am her daddy. Period.
And I'm her brother.
and he's her brother. Period.
I literally have a little note that says, "I love you, Bubba," on my wall. And if I move it, she would kill me.
She actually finally, as she got into adulthood, finally met her real dad, and she could care less, really. Because as far as she's concerned, I was there since she was 2 years old. And she's the main reason I stayed. The boys loved me. They cared about me. They wanted me there. But Heather was the main catalyst that kept our relationship with Rhonda, me and Rhonda together. Because every time I'd leave, she'd be the one crying to want me back. But, it is what it is. Anyway, so, like I said, we're constantly crisscrossing each other. So like shadows crossing in the night. Shadows crossing in the day. Shadows crossing everywhere you look. There's no time to sit down, relax, and spend time. And you have to have time to sit down and relax and spend time with each other, even with kids of that magnitude. You have to have time together, but like I said, we couldn't have, the job I had didn't have PTO, didn't have vacation time. It was just like I had to work. Went to Waffle House as a cook. There's no vacation time there, no PTO there. You have no time off to spend time with your family. The aluminum recycling plant, the same way. Coca-Cola Merchandising Company, the same way. I didn't have any PTO. I didn't have any vacation time I could use. I had killer insurance with Coca-Cola, but I didn't have any. I didn't have any time. I didn't have any time to use. There's no PTO. There's no vacation. You can't. And her job, she was a store manager, and she may have had some details and vacation time, but she really couldn't use it because she had to run the store. So we didn't have time to spend extended days off together because this is, they weren't available to us, or we didn't know how to access it. And of course, that would eventually lead to our further troubles along down the line. Like me and my wife now, Rhea, we make time. She works 2 jobs, and of course I'm working night shift now as a contractor at the school. But on the weekends, we make sure to have weekends off together, and we think at least one day of the week, and Saturday, to go do something together. Go to the movie, go to Branson and hang out because we're only about an hour and a half away from Branson. Or, you know, we got caves. We're in tourist attraction area. In Mountain Home, Arkansas, there's something to do within 2 hours in every direction. And all you got to worry about is the cost of gas to get there and the cost of admission. You ain't got to worry about a hotel. You can stay here to Mountain Home. You can go to Branson, you can go to Eureka, you can go to Mammoth, you can go to Mountain View, down Blanchard Springs. We got 4 lakes. We got Beaver and Table Rock Lake out to the northwest going toward around Eureka Springs, just past Eureka Springs. We got Norfolk and Bull Shoals right here.
Not too far away from Dover City.
Yeah, that's Branson. And we also got Buffalo and the White Rivers and the Norfolk River. So we got 3 rivers and 4 lakes to mess with. So there's something to do. We're right in the middle of a tourist center, tourist central, so to speak. So there's always something to do. But with me and Rhonda, we just didn't. Our jobs just didn't make that available to us. The PTO, vacation, and eventually it would show its dastardly effects. So shadow crossing is a poem explaining that, you know, we're in a marriage here, and, you know, I see her shadow leave as I'm coming home, and then she sees my shadow leave as she's coming home, going to work, coming home from work or whatever. And, you know, the kids' shadows going back and forth to school, and to bed, and to dinner, and to bed, and it's just a bunch of shadows crossing each other, and that's all it mattered to being. And there was really no time for wound down time, unless we went to the movie, which is all we could really afford to do at the time. Let's go to the movie. So, shadow crossing. And this will end chapter 8. This will be the end of chapter 8. We will move into chapter 9. So we're moving right along. I'm going to read Shadow Crossing. Got a few final thoughts into this episode. Then I'm going to post them both. Let you guys catch up. The next time we meet, we'll start chapter 9, Out of Mind. So here we go. Shadow Crossing. I have a dream. She has a dream. The kids all have their dreams. A dream that one beautiful day we'll all have some leisure time together, with everyone present and accounted for, to share each other's wants and desires. How one watches his shadow transform into an all-star athletic in football. The other becomes an instrument's master. How one sees his shadow in an iron cross, and the little sister watches her shadow do dance routines in a gymnastic competition. We can't forget me, the infamous writer, and of course the mother of all of us nuts, trying to make sense out of everything. While wondering how hot or cold I am at work, I work outside in our ever-changing weather, our shadows ever so often cross paths. When they do, we talk for a bit about our dreams and realize how real they can be. And then, of course, we go to sleep. The next day, same old, same old. The wife heads to her respective job. I to mine, and the kids go to school. Looking closely, you can see their shadows crossing paths, going in different directions, their dreams in different pursuits. Back home, though, 2 shadows have stayed behind. They make time their counterparts don't have, snuggling up on the couch watching TV, waiting, anticipating when the same scene begins again. The kids come home, do homework, eat, and go to bed. Go to school, functions, and to the ballpark. Getting up in the morning, repeating the morning before. Repeating the same phrase day in and day out. Hi, how was your day? Love you. Good night. Good morning. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Feels like a dream.
Sounds like a family that needed to take time out together. Sounds like a mother and father that needed some time together and were hard pressed on getting that time together. And of course, like I said, the effects of that would eventually show its nasty side. But we'll cover that.
But things are better now.
Things are better now, but we're going to cover the effects of this
Partially healed, hopefully.
in the next chapter, the next two chapters, chapter 9 and chapter 10. And then, in the meantime,
Look at my dad's shiny head and
look at my shiny head.
see your future.
Try not to blind yourself as you look at it. With the halo on over the top here. I'm an angel, believe it or not. You know, you see the halo. I'm just kidding. 34, chapter 9, Out of Mind. We'll meet again. In the meantime, take care.